Ladies and gentlemen, let's Gaming.com video. We have news concerning a new 3DS, and believe it or not, that is actually the name of the console, the new 3DS. Possibly one of the worst names I think Nintendo could have gone with, but we'll go into that in just a moment. So the console itself is going to feature an additional analog stick, so you've got two analog sticks, color-coded buttons, that's like the X, Y, and A and B buttons, just to clarify. NFC, so near field communication, which of course is going to be pretty important when it comes to, well, let's say, the new range of toys that Nintendo are going to be released. A micro USB card slot, for those who actually care about it. And here's the part where it gets really, really odd. Japan are going to be receiving this shiny in October the 11th. Europe and North America, no date has been provided. We know that Europe are going to be receiving it in 2015, but whether the United States is going to be 2015 or, say, Christmas time, shrug. Nintendo haven't commented, at least as of right now. But some people are already pretty upset about this, because what you're actually getting is not just an additional analog stick, but a more powerful processor. So this will mean that there are going to be actually exclusive titles that will simply not be backwardly compatible with the existing 3DS system. The first of these is going to be Xenoblade Chronicles, which of course did pretty well actually on the original Wii, which, by the way, the game was released in 2012. So there's already been discontentment because people already own a 3DS or have just bought a 3DS, but now they own a 3DS, but they own a slightly less powerful version of a 3DS. I don't know about that. Here's the problem. It's also going to have an improved battery life, which is quite nice. As I mentioned, there's a micro SD card and other bits and pieces that you'd expect. But I don't know if Nintendo did the right thing when it comes to naming. You see, the problem with the name, first of all, Nintendo have already been heavily criticized with the name of the Wii U. There's actually quite a few, even gamers, believe it or not, but particularly parents, who look at the Wii U and think it's just a controller for the original Wii. I know that's absolutely absurd maybe to some of you, but it's true. But now you've got the new 3DS, and that's the name of it, as far as I'm reading anyway. It's the new 3DS. That's not a great name, at least in my opinion. Maybe you'll disagree. I'm not like a console marketing genius, perhaps, but it sounds kind of a confusing name, particularly to parents. And that's what you got to remember. It's like, okay, to you, who maybe follows gaming news really closely, you're following the industry, okay, that's pretty obvious. If someone called it Apple, or they called it Pear, or they called it freshly squeezed monkey piss, you'd understand. But when someone's not following the industry that closely, if you call the new 3DS the new 3DS, and it also has different hardware specifications, you might just go into the store, you'll pick up the old 3DS, and find that it's not compatible with some of the new 3DS games. I understand that Nintendo are definitely leveraging the name of, well, the 3DS, but I do feel that they should have named it something a little different and provided a more clear distinction. Regardless of my bitching regarding the name, let's discuss whether you have a right to be mad regarding the games. It's a very tricky situation, because as a PC gamer, I understand that hardware changes, and for example, there were games this is back in the 32-bit era, on, like, say, the Sega Saturn, or even the original N64, where they required RAM upgrades, and you would basically put the cartridge in. If you didn't do that, you were unable to play the games. The difference is, it wasn't like my Saturn couldn't do it, I just needed a RAM upgrade, which was a separate cartridge to just plug straight back in to the machine. Simple. One of the reasons that people buy a console is because they expect that console to be compatible with all games. And that's why I feel that this is kind of a marketing issue. Because what you're going to have is a bunch of gamers who are going to be buying games and they might not realise because maybe they're not technically savvy, or they don't follow the news, or they just plumb don't look at the back of the packaging, which yes is kind of their fault, but if you don't know, you can't check. And if you've been buying games all this time for your 3DS or your Wii or your PlayStation 4 or whatever, and suddenly you don't realise there's another version of it, and this somewhat ties in, by the way, to some news regarding the PlayStation 3, where of course, Grand Theft Auto Online, with the series of patches, is no longer going to be available for like lower level storage versions of the PS3, in other words, the 12GB models. I just thought I'd throw that in there. So while I don't necessarily blame Nintendo for releasing a faster 3DS, I do feel that they should do more to differentiate the models, but I'm not going to condemn them for it 100%. I guess we're just going to have to see, because let's face it, it's only just been announced, so maybe they'll change some of this stuff around, or maybe they'll put a good sticker on the front or something like that, and who knows. But as of right now, I'm not 100% happy with this decision, primarily because I feel that there's going to be a lot of people, particularly parents or those who don't technically follow the industry that closely, who are going to feel very, very confused over this. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.